When fall comes around, I start thinking about deer jerky. So I go out in the woods, get in my deer stand, and start looking for a deer to take home. Doe days came 5 or 6 weeks earlier this year. I reckon there's too many deer. Hey, better to take one home for the freezer than to let the cars wipe them out. I got in my stand about 30 or 40 minutes before daylight, or 20 minutes before shooting time. And as it got light, I sat in that stand for a couple hours and I realized, wow, there's so many leaves, it's hard to see. I thought, I better get down there on the ground. Something could be sneaking right past me. That's my view from after I got on the ground, sat on a little chair I had. But I could see farther, and I wasn't there 5 minutes, and a little doe came prancing up, and I thought, perfect. Here comes my jerky. It actually walked right up. I noticed it when it was about 30 yards away, and I let it get about 20 yards away, and then I took it. I didn't have to walk far to go get it either. Unlike most people, I hang mine head up when I skin them and work up the meat. That's just the way I've always done it. And I take the quarters off, front shoulders, back hind quarters, and then I take the back straps off, and then I debone the ribs and take them and any other meat that I can get off it, and try not to leave even a meal for a buzzard. Day one, I take them quarters and them back straps and them ribs and front shoulders and just keep them in the cooler on ice. And I plan on keeping that meat on ice for about a week. It just takes the gamey taste out. Now I'm making venison jerky out of this, so I'm showing you that meat there. All that white stuff has to come off. That's what it should look like when you're ready. And of course I try to cut it cross grain.
All right.
And that'll make good jerky. I cut it about a 1/2 inch thick.
So here's how I make jerky out of a hind quarter. It's small. It was a young deer, nice and tender. I try and follow these lines and naturally take it apart. Okay. Anything white I take off of there, because if it's fat, it's going to be greasy. And if it's not fat but something else white, it's going to be hard to chew. Keep your knife sharp. Makes a big difference. They kind of separate themselves like into a few sections of muscles. See, it just kind of comes apart. It's not really that difficult. One time someone gave me a big chunk of fresh cow that died, and man, it smelled terrible till about 10 days. After 10 days in the cooler, like I do my deer, keeping it on ice and keeping it draining off, all of a sudden it started to smell really good. But at first it smelled like grain alcohol or something. It was weird. But deer meat's the same. You gotta let it bleed out in the cooler. show you what I think is just perfect. That will make some good jerky. That's what I'm shooting for. So all of this stuff's all got to come off. Anything that's inside, all of that, all comes off. That's what we want. This one is easy to see the grain. See the grain running? So I'll be cutting it across the grain. And of course, the absolute best jerky will be from the back strap. I read somewhere that it's against the law to make jerky out of the inside tenderloins, so I guess I'll just have to eat them like they are. Now, the ribs, the deboned ribs, are one of my favorite parts. They are so tasty on the grill. I won't make jerky out of them. I'm not going to waste those. Those need the fat. You should try them if you haven't ate them. They're so delicious. So I take these frozen jugs and start piling meat on there because I want it to sit for a week before I use it. So there it sits on ice, and I'll keep the water drained out of it, like I said, for a week. That's what makes it taste so good. All right, now the meat's been prepared and sitting on ice in my cooler. I keep draining out the bad water, keeping fresh ice on it, keep it cold, and not soaking in water. That's been a week. Now it's time to marinate for my jerky. So the way I do it, I put a layer in, hit it with a little salt. I use the pickling salt, the non-iodized. I don't know why. Someone along the line said that's better. Okay. Then I hit it with my black pepper. Then I put another layer in. Plenty of black pepper, a little bit of salt. Another layer. Every layer, I want the pepper and the salt to touch all of the meat. And I think it's easier to do it this way. I can see it. I can see it's working. Cover up the salt and pepper and hit it again. All right. That's the last layer. Okay, now I just make it the easy way. I like Dale's. I use Dale's. It's soy sauce that's got some kind of preservative in it, and who knows what else is in there. But it's a good flavor on jerky for me. You can use Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, garlic, onion. I do a little bit sometimes. I want it covered good. All right, now I'm gonna let that sit between 24 and 48 hours, and then I'm gonna put it on the dehydrator. And I wanna keep it cold. It's cold enough here, I can leave it outside and that'll be fine. It's just like having it in the fridge. Okay.
Time to take my meat and put it on the dehydrator. I'm just going to fill the trays and repeat. Dehydrator number 1 is full. That is 7 trays. I actually have 2 dehydrators currently. This one with a fan and this one without a fan. They both work really good. I check them every 4 hours. It's good to do because otherwise they're all going to end up overdone. Some people like them a little chewier than other people do, so by keeping an eye on them, you can get them just the way you want them. Black pepper and Dale seasoning. It's simple and delicious. And this is how I like them. Man, that's good. It's very good. Not too chewy, not too dry, just right.